YouTube just released a massive YouTube Shorts algorithm that is going to completely change everything, and you might already be feeling the effects from it because it's going to change what length content you should be creating, what kind of content you should be creating. It's even going to change how you're going to monetize your YouTube Shorts moving forward and so much more. But don't worry, because all you have to do is implement the changes I share with you in this video, and boom, it's the easiest time ever for you to be able to get views on YouTube, get subscribers, and ultimately be able to make a full-time living from YouTube. Change number one is you need to start extending the length of your YouTube Shorts. And no, I'm not telling you to start uploading YouTube Shorts that are 2 minutes long or 3 minutes long. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is you need to begin to increase the length of the shorts that you're currently creating. Let's say that your best videos right now are 10 seconds long, or 20 seconds long, or might be 60 seconds long. I want you to start adding 5 to 10 seconds onto the length of the content, because otherwise you're going to get left behind in 2025 when it comes to YouTube Shorts. Because now that YouTube is actually pushing out videos that are over 60 seconds long, guess what? That means that the average view duration you're gonna need to get on your videos is going to increase, and the easiest way for you to be able to do this without actually creating better content is simply just making your videos a little bit longer. Change number two is you need to make sure that you start using the Trends tab in order to predict how many views you're actually gonna get and whether or not YouTube actually wants to push out your content. Here's what I mean. So if you come into your analytics on YouTube and come right here and then come into Trends right here, you are now going to be able to see whether or not YouTube actually wants to push out your content depending on what you're going to be posting about. For example, let's say that I was going to be making a video about how to get big biceps. Guess what? YouTube isn't going to want to push this out on my channel, which is why it says very low interest from my viewers. If it says this, or if it says medium interest, or even if it says high interest, I would strongly suggest that you do not actually create that video. Instead, what you want to see is what I see when I type in YouTube algorithm right here. What do I see? I see very high interest. You need to make sure it says very high interest for whatever keyword you are going to be putting in your title. Because if you don't do that, what's going to end up happening is you're going to upload stuff on YouTube. YouTube doesn't want to push out to your channel, and boom, you're not going to get the views that you want. Secondly though, you need to make sure that you type in whatever the keyword, whatever the topic is of the video you're going to create. You want to come under here, what people are watching, click on show all, and then you want to come into shorts right here. Now what you want to make sure that you do is find shorts that were created recently. For example, these were all created years ago, but if I scroll down here, we'll see that this one was 4 months ago and this one was 10 months ago. But if we keep scrolling down, we'll see others that were a little bit closer. So this one right here was 6 months ago, and this is really the closest one, right? So 4 months ago, it was 40 seconds long. So if I want to create a short on this, I would ideally want to make my video, like I shared with you in change number one, 5 to 10 seconds longer than this video right here, so that YouTube is incentivized to push out my piece of content over this piece of content. Now I do want to warn you, those first two steps were incredibly important, but these next three are going to be absolute game changers because they're going to change how you actually monetize your account and two other things, and trust me, you don't want to mess these up. Change number three is you want to avoid saying link in any of your shorts. It's very easy to say that in a long form video and see no penalty, but if you say that within your shorts content, it's going to decrease the reach that you get. Instead, you need to come up with another word or another way for you to actually refer to where you want them to go to. But lucky for you, there is actually a workaround for this. But before we get into that, I need to share with you something that's going to be incredibly important for when you're building your online presence and ultimately building your brand. And I'm not just talking about social media, I'm talking about everywhere. I mean, have you ever stopped to think about how easy it is for somebody to find you online? Because as a creator, your name is your brand and it's what everybody knows you as. So if you wouldn't settle for a username like @user1234, well then why on earth would you settle for a URL that isn't descriptive of your actual brand? Now here's where today's sponsor, .store domains, actually comes in. You've got your name, you've got your brand, and you've got your audience already, so now you need to make it incredibly easy for them to be able to find you everywhere. And whether you're launching merch, you're launching a product, or you're launching a service, your URL means everything. Because unlike .com, .net, or even .org, you'd agree that a website URL like robert.store is way better than robert-shop123.shopify.com, because it makes it clear to your audience that this is your actual store where you're selling stuff, and they don't have to jump through hoops in order to find your URL. And the best part is you don't have to wait until your store is complete or you have something to sell. You could secure your .store domain right now at the pinned comment below. But don't just take my word for it. Mr. Beast has moved to a .store, iShowSpeed has, Dude Perfect, Zach King, and so many other big creators that you know and love. Now, the reason that they're switching to their name .store is because they understand that it's way better to have a branded URL when they're trying to sell merch, sell a product, or even sell a service. Most importantly though, .store doesn't just look cool, it's also incredibly trusted because it unlocks real value for creators that are trying to monetize. Because websites with a .store domain get up to 2 times more organic visibility. So what are you waiting for? Go to the pinned comment below and get your .store domain secured and be a step ahead, just like the top creators that you know and love. Now, in terms of that workaround that I was going to share with you earlier, that would be doing something like saying, go to your store, go to your website, or just go to the pinned comment or go to the description. And the reason that you want to say that is because those things aren't going to cause a flag on YouTube's side. The only thing that'll cause a flag is saying link, so please do not say link within your YouTube Shorts because I promise you it will decrease your reach. Change number 4 is you need to make sure where you're putting your hashtags, how many hashtags you're using, and what type of hashtags you're using. I cannot emphasize this enough. When it comes to shorts on YouTube, the only place that you should be placing your hashtags is at the end of your title. You shouldn't have it in the middle of your title. You shouldn't have it in the beginning of your title, and I wouldn't even put it in the description of your videos. You want it at the end of your title because people will be searching for those hashtags and they want to see it within your title. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for people to actually discover your videos. On top of that, you should never use irrelevant hashtags. If you use irrelevant hashtags on YouTube, your content is going to get shown to people that aren't actually interested in it. As a result, your swipe rate is going to be really high, your average view duration is going to be really low, and YouTube is not going to give your videos more than 1,000 views. Now, when it comes to the best hashtag strategies to be using, here's what you should stick to. Hashtag strategy number 1 is going to be 2 hashtags and both of them should be niche specific. Hashtag strategy number 2 is going to be 4 hashtags and you need to make sure that these hashtags are shorter than the title when it comes to length. I'll share with you an example in just a second. But that third hashtag strategy is making sure that you're using 3 hashtags. If you use 3 hashtags, 2 of them should be niche specific and 1 of them should be hashtag shorts. Now let me show you a few examples about exactly what hashtags you should be using and how long they should actually be. So in terms of length on your hashtags, here's what I'm talking about. If we pull up a random video on YouTube, like this one right here, you'll see how to turn comments on a YouTube 2025 update. I put hashtag shorts in here. Now I could have added other hashtags here. For example, YouTube has these suggested hashtags right here, but I wouldn't actually add these in because they aren't that relevant. In fact, if we come over here, this says the following suggestions were automatically generated based on your existing content. So it actually has nothing to do with my current content. Instead, what we could do is come up with some ideas. For example, maybe YouTube Shorts. And then we see this. This has 20 million channels, 338 million videos. You want to be choosing the hashtags that are the most relevant to whatever you're posting about, but also have the biggest channels and the biggest videos, because the bigger that the actual hashtag is, the more views that you're going to get from using that hashtag. So please only use those super relevant hashtags. Now, when it comes to using 4 hashtags, so let's say I was going to use 4 hashtags in a video title like this, I want to make sure that those 4 hashtags are not longer than this right here. So if we get rid of all the hashtags here, we'll see that this title is 48 characters. So my hashtag should not be more than 48 characters, because if they are, it's actually going to lead to a decrease in reach. Now, here's the reason that you want to make sure that you are only using really big hashtags. The way that people actually interact with hashtags is they do this. They would come over to YouTube, they would be scrolling on YouTube. Let's say that they're scrolling on YouTube Shorts right here. They're scrolling down and they see this one and they see that this is a relatable short. Now, this video went viral, and again, it uses the 3 hashtag strategy that I just shared with you. So if we look here, let's say that we click on relatable right here. Now, all we're going to see are other shorts that were created under here. And you need to make sure that the other shorts that are created under here look like the video that you are posting right now. If they don't, well, then your video is probably not on trend and it's going to decrease the reach that you get. In addition to that, it's a really good sign if it looks like this with literally hundreds of videos that have gone mega viral. Now, for the last and final algorithm change, I actually have 3 different updates. Update number 1 is you need to make sure that you have text on the screen in your videos. I cannot emphasize this enough. More people than ever before are watching YouTube Shorts without the sound on. So the only way that they're gonna get hooked in is if you have text on the screen. Look at this. This video has text on the screen. This video has text on the screen. This one doesn't, but this one does, 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 this one does. Literally, almost every single video under here that has gone viral has text on the screen. So please, do not ignore this. The second thing is you need to be optimizing for how many comments you're currently getting on YouTube. The more comments you get, the more views you're gonna get. The easiest way that you do this is 1, give people a really good reason to leave comments on your content, and 2, you need to make sure you respond back to every single comment, or at least as many as possible. The more comments you respond to, the more people are going to come back to your YouTube videos, the more that they're going to see your future videos and your past videos. For example, if you leave a comment on this video right now, the next time you come to YouTube, you're going to see one of my other videos. Now you want that same exact thing to happen for all of your viewers. In addition to that, what is going to happen is then YouTube is going to say, wow, this person really loves this content, because they actually figured out that a lot of people watch YouTube passively. So the people that comment on videos are the ideal viewer for that channel. Now guess what happens? YouTube sees, hey, this is the ideal viewer. Let's go find other people that look like this ideal viewer, show this person's content to them, and boom, that is going to skyrocket your reach. I cannot emphasize enough, that is really, really important. And then finally, you need to make sure that you are hitting the right metrics when it comes to your YouTube Shorts. If you mess this part up, you can literally throw out everything else that I've shared with you in this video, because if you don't hit these metrics, you are not gonna go viral. And lucky for you, there are only 2 that you need to pay attention to. So this video went pretty viral. 175,000 views. By the end of the month, it's going to have over 200,000 views. Now, the only reason that this happened is because 1, the average viewed percentage is over 80%. Now, if your video is less than 30 seconds long, you actually need this to be over 100%. But if your video is greater than 30 seconds, you need this to be over 80%. That's the first metric. The second metric that you need to make sure that you're hitting is if you come under reach, you need to make sure that how many chose to view is over 80%. Only way that that is going to happen is 1, if you have text on the screen and have a good hook, and 2, that the topic is actually something that your ideal viewer is interested in. If you do not do those 2 things correctly, you are not going to hit these metrics. You will not go viral. You're going to think it's really hard to grow on YouTube and that the YouTube algorithm hates you, but in reality, you just didn't hook anybody in, you didn't make content they want to see, or you messed up one of the other things I shared with you. Now at this point, there's only 2 reasons you're not seeing the growth that you want to on YouTube right now. Either 1, you're violating one of the algorithm rules that I just shared with you, or 2, you just don't know what to do. And if that's you, I personally want to help you. In fact, I want to work with you one-on-one to guarantee I can help you get more views, get subscribers, and ultimately get monetized on YouTube in 2025. The same way that I just helped this creator get over 300,000 subscribers and this creator over 500,000 subscribers. If that sounds interesting, well please, check out this video right here that explains the 3 different ways that we could actually work together. I'll see you over there.